Because of the way the universe is created, we each of us live in two worlds at the same time. We have to live in the outer life of our own bodies and the inner life of our own souls.
Hello and welcome to Living the Inner Life. I'm your host, Chris Sheridan, and I want you to join with me on a discussion and exploration into our inner lives, our thoughts, our beliefs, our feelings, everything that goes on inside us that helps us take in and interpret the outside world and informs us how we respond to the people and the events that we come in contact with. So today I want to talk about faith. Not any particular faith, meaning a particular religion, but faith as the belief in things unseen. Okay, it's easy to say, and we say this a lot, seeing is believing, or I'll believe it when I see it, or I didn't believe it until I saw it with my own eyes, and there it was. That we need this confirmation, this proof of something beforehand, before we can bring it into our consciousness. We go, show me, let me see this. All right, faith isn't that. Faith is when you can't see the thing. Doesn't mean it's not there. Doesn't mean you're not going to get there. Doesn't mean this thing isn't going to come to you, or this thing, this wish, this dream will be fulfilled. Okay? Just because we can't see it now doesn't mean it won't happen at a later date. And it's important, according to different religions who use the term faith. A lot of times it's faith in God, or this belief in the unknown, the unseen, the invisible, the infinite. But we even know this from something simple like planting a seed. Now, if you stick it in the soil, you can't see it, and you can water it and wait a few days and it'll germinate, and eventually it'll sprout and break through the surface of the dirt to where you can see it. And then you say, oh, well, there it is. I believe it. But we know, because if we've ever planted anything before, you've read up on it, that you have to put it away. You have to put it underground. That's where it germinates, and that's where it takes root. Otherwise, you're just going to have a sprout. You're not really going to have anything. Okay, so we put it in the dirt, and you can't just pull it out every 10 or 15 minutes or every day and check up on it. Okay, you have to have this faith that if you take care of it and you water it, not too much, that it will germinate and it will eventually sprout up and come towards the light, because that's what plants do. All right, now that can be very scientific. It's botany. This experiment, if you will, has been replicated millions, probably billions of times over the years with every farmer, every gardener, every person in a house that wants to grow some herbs for their salads. It's been proven over and over again that this works. Okay, but you still have to have faith. It's still going to be literally in the underground before it comes back up. All right. Now, what about things that you really don't know, or you don't know how? Okay. Faith often can help us the most when we're trying to figure out something, or figure out how to do something, or trying to accomplish something, and we don't really see the end. Okay. You can imagine the end result, okay, the outcome, but you can't really see the steps. Or maybe it seems insurmountable. It seems very far away, or a very tough hill to climb. And it can be. A lot of things can be like that, especially big things. And sometimes, baffling enough, some little things can be vexing and very difficult to try to bring about in our lives. But if you don't have faith, that means you don't believe that something is going to happen. And if that's what you believe, it's kind of like a negative faith. It's this disbelief in things unseen. Well, chances are you're probably not going to see it, and it probably won't come true. It won't come to fruition. But if you have this faith in how something can happen, okay, the means by which this thing can be accomplished, you may not know what that is. Now, you can set out with an action plan, and you can take steps. You can have markers. You can have lists of things to check off that you believe and have faith that will get you to this goal, that will help you accomplish that which you want to have happen in your life. But if it seems far away, or if it seems difficult, or it seems insurmountable, even if you have this plan, faith will help carry you through the dark, quiet spaces where nothing really seems to be happening, at least nothing that you can tell. And faith, one of the great things about faith is that you don't have to know completely how something is going to happen. You have to take action. You have to have a plan. Okay? People don't plan to fail. They fail to plan, and they fail to follow the plan. I did a podcast earlier about following and developing a plan. So follow your plan, develop a plan, follow it, and still keep the door of faith open that there may be hidden possibilities. Maybe it's something that's not on your plan, something you haven't planned for, and something that can come up in between the time you started your plan and you're in the process of carrying it out. Faith can be the bridge that gets us through the times of unbelief, or when we're cynical or frustrated or just don't see how something can happen. All right? Faith can open the doors. It can help energize your motivation and your determination to see this thing through. Now, you have to make this leap of faith. You may not see the net below you, but you have to leap anyway. Okay, I'm talking about a bridge, but it's a bridge you can't see. But you have to believe it. Believe it as if it already happened. See yourself doing the thing, or having the thing, or being in this place, if you want to travel somewhere, or being with that someone that you're thinking of, or if you don't know who that someone is, that someone will appear, whoever he or she may be. Okay? And through these times, through these spaces where the path isn't clear, when the goal is really not in sight, actual sight, faith opens the broader doors to new possibilities. Okay, so if you're just following the plan and you put your blinders on and say, I'm going to stay in my lane, this is the plan, I'm not going to deviate, this is how it goes, it's probably not going to serve you well enough. Your plan may be great and it may work, but there may also be other hidden possibilities that you didn't plan for. Okay? And maybe you don't even have a plan. Maybe it's like, I have no idea how I'm going to do this. If you want to do something, if you want to have something, let's take health, for example. If you're sick and tired, you have a persistent cough or a chronic pain, something annoying, or maybe something a little more acute that you want to get over, a sickness or some debilitating condition that you want to return to a healed state. Okay, put your faith in healing. Put your faith in you being healed, enjoying this healed state. All right, so faith is like a line you can cast out. And when you reel it in, you pull yourself towards the goal, and you also pull the goal towards yourself. Bring it in to you, bring it in closer. Okay, so this faith can energize the empty spaces. It can fill in some of the gaps. It can get us out of our own head, because no matter what we plan for, no matter how developed our plan of action is, there's always, like I said, hidden possibilities, but we can also get too stuck on the plan. Okay? Keep the goal, but the plan itself can change. And when it seems like it's so distant and so far away, if you're so broke, but you really want to make a bunch of money and be financially independent, and you've tried 20 things and you failed every time, you can lose faith. But maybe you didn't really have faith that strong to begin with. It's a leap. That's why they call it a leap of faith. And it can be unsettling because we like to have evidence of things, but we know it to be true. Okay? Every scientific discovery has been made on faith. New discoveries, a new way of looking at something, a new scientific theory, a new manufacturing process for a new element that got discovered. You have to believe that this thing can happen, or you're at least going to explore that possibility that you can develop, a low friction motor that is incredibly efficient, for instance. Now, it may go against, and it may not line up with the existing science of electrical engineering. You could take it to somebody and they would say, well, this isn't going to happen. You can't do that. Maybe with the current status, the current way of looking at the world, it can't be. But that's not innovation. Innovation is when you do something that hasn't been done. Something that probably previously a lot of people said couldn't be done. Like the airplane. That was, as much as you can prove a negative, it was fairly scientifically proven that heavier than air, human flight can take place, that you can make an airplane. Well, the Wright brothers proved everybody wrong, but they believed. They had this faith. They didn't know how. They didn't know exactly what the design would be like. They weren't 100% sure on what the process. Were they going to be able to develop a lightweight engine that had enough horsepower to turn the propellers? Would it be controllable? All these things. But they had this belief that it could be figured out. All right? And that's everything. That's everything that's new. Even a child learning to walk. Now, they may not have a lot of disbelief because they haven't had a lifetime of broken dreams and frustrations and near misses and all these things that we do develop over time. But they take that leap. They might be holding onto the couch and then take a step or two away from it and fall down and pick themselves up and keep on going. There's this growth, this movement towards life, towards improvement, towards something better, towards something that you haven't done before. All right? And that's this leap of faith. All right? It's like surrendering to the water if you want to float on your back or even tread water, but just like take floating, for example. It's very unsettling if you've never really done it before or you haven't been swimming in a long time. You're in the water and you're trying to stay afloat, and the thing you want to do is roll over on your back, arch your back, stick your head up, put your arms out, everything that kind of is counterintuitive because you want to grasp onto something that you can see. You can't see surface tension. Okay, you can't see buoyancy, but you can see the effects of it. You can feel the effects of it. You can survive due to the effects of surface tension and buoyancy if you roll over on your back, like I said, arch your back and put your arms out, you will float. Okay? But to do that, to put your body in that position, say you're out in the ocean or something, that takes a bit of faith. Now, after you've done it a few times, then you know, and then it's not really faith because you've seen it before, okay? And now you're just doing it again, and you can rely on that previous experience. But initially, and I've been with people, even adults learning how to swim or to get reacclimated to the water to go out snorkeling or something, and it can be scary. You have to hold on to somebody. You have to hold their hand and tell them, hey, it's going to be okay. What? No, I got to flap around and thrash about in the water. And it's like, no, you don't. You just need to relax. Do nothing. And the water will keep you afloat. Okay? So a lot of the times faith comes in the first time we do something that we've never done before. or haven't done in a certain way. Okay? Or it can come in when it's something we've done a bunch of times, say like moving and trying to find an apartment. That's a leap of faith. You can get the listings, you can drive around, you can look in the papers, you can get a realtor, you can do all these things. And in my experience, you go through those motions, you do those things, you go to the open houses, you look at the listing, and you can't find anything. And then you kind of give up. You say, well, screw it. I'm just going to drive around the neighborhood and maybe get a coffee somewhere. And then you get lost, you turn down the wrong street, and you don't know where you are, and you look over and, and there's a for rent sign, one that wasn't on your list. Hand-painted sign that somebody just put out in the yard. And that'll be your apartment. That'll be the one. So you have to move. You have to act. You have to follow a plan, even when you're relying on faith. Okay? And if there really is, you're stranded somewhere, there's no way of at least anything you can think of that you can do, then developing this faith and relying on this faith then becomes the plan. That becomes the action, is to cultivate this faith that if you're, like I said, if you're stranded, that maybe a rescuer will find you or ping your phone or do something, have infrared and see your body heat if you're out in the canyons or something hiking and get lost. Okay, so faith is something that we can use. It's a very practical tool. Okay, it sounds woo-woo or mushy, or it's, like I said, wishful thinking or a pie in the sky. But it really can happen. All right, look at an acorn. Okay, an acorn is a seed that will grow into an oak tree. It doesn't look like an oak tree, but it will become one if you plant it and you cultivate it and you grow and you wait about 50 years and it'll be a gigantic oak tree. All right. So getting back to areas in our life when we want to rely on this faith, we want to bring this in as a tool that will help us. So if it's health and healing, believe in that healed state. See yourself walking or moving in such a way that you can't do right now because of your injury, or say if it's a lingering cold or something like that. Imagine yourself breathing easily or lifting something and your lower back doesn't hurt like it does now, if that's the case. Okay? Or if it's a mysterious thing, or if it's something even more serious like a disease. Have faith that the healing can come. You can bring the healing to you, like moving the mountain to Muhammad. Okay, that's how strong this faith can be. And you don't have to know how, and you don't have to know what these steps are that will get you there. You just have to believe. Believe in the thing unseen, the thing hoped for. And it can come true if your faith is strong. Because if you give up, well, quitters never win, right? Winners never quit. So this faith keeps, it's like team spirit or something. It pulls something out from within you and from around you. You vibrate with that frequency as you move about in the universe. You're vibrating with the frequency of health and healing. Or if it's financial issues, with prosperity. If you go around with an attitude of lack or poverty or just being broke or always going month to month trying to make ends meet and fearful that you won't be able to pay off your loans and advance in the world, you have to have faith that can get you there. Okay? But if you're feeling that you can't get there, or it's just going to be more of the same, you're actually praying to that God. You're praying to the poverty, lack of abundance God. You're praying to the sickness God if you see yourself as being sick and tired all the time. You have to see what you can't see. You have to believe it in your mind's eye. Get this vision. get this image, and move towards it. And if you get an intuitive message, okay, from this faith that says, do this or do that, or call this doctor, or you see an opportunity come up in your social feed, and you go, gosh, normally I wouldn't want to do something like that, but I've really been in faith with my success plan, and this seems like something that might just work. So things can come in. You get the message. It's not going to, necessarily just blindly come to you when you're not expecting anything. And again, you have to be doing something. Okay? That's how faith works. You keep trying. You have this, whether it's a plan or it's just a goal, and you're really trying to move towards that. Have faith that the path that you can't see may be the path that will get you there. So when you're driving at night, you only really see a couple hundred feet in front of you with the headlights. And if there's no street lights or anything like that, you don't see the destination, but you know that if you follow it, if you follow the map, the GPS, and you follow the directions, you're going to be able to get to your destination. Okay? So just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. And if you can really see it, that is, see it with your mind's eye and stay with that attitude. Okay? Your positive energy, your belief in this thing unseen can do amazing things. Just like your disbelief and your cynicism or your doubt can be very, very powerful to keep you from doing what it is you want to do. More makes more. So more faith will bring the thing unseen closer to you. More doubt and more disbelief will just be more of the same. Okay? So don't pray to the negativity God. Don't pray to the sickness God. Don't pray to the brokenness God or the aloneness God if you want to have a relationship or bring some friendships into your life. Okay? Pray to the God of health. Pray to the God of companionship. All right? And pray to the God of success. And you will find your way there. It may not be the exact way that you had planned or initially thought of, but if you really have this faith, this belief, something will happen. You will open yourself up to possibilities you didn't even know were there. Possibilities that were unseen. Possibilities that if you believe in them, that is, if you have faith in them, they will come true, they will come to you, and you will reach your goal, your destination. So thank you for having faith in me that this podcast would be amusing, entertaining, or informative or something. And if it wasn't for you, well, hopefully you have enough faith left over that maybe the next one will. And we'll see you here and then on Living the Inner Life.